Can you buy an Academy Award? If you're an Oscar-nominated actor, director, producer, can you throw enough parties and spend enough money and schmooze enough Academy members to essentially guarantee a win at the big ceremony? Some aspects of aggressive Oscar campaigning by the studios year to year will always have their share of controversies. Who can forget in 2002 when a bunch of stories started mysteriously emerging that the Best Picture frontrunner A Beautiful Mind was historically inaccurate, whitewashing John Nash's homosexuality and anti-Semitism. Or in 2010 when one of the Hurt Locker producers wrote a mass email to Academy members asking them to vote for his movie rather than a $500 million film. Smear campaigns do happen, and the Best Picture, or the Best Director, or the Best Actor doesn't always go to the film or person who deserves it most. But I would say it's basically impossible to purchase your own Oscar win, because with currently around 10,000 voting members in the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, who could possibly have enough power to influence that many votes to make a significant difference? If you're an actor with a lot of friends in the organization who wants to vote for your nominated performance, great. But what about the costume design branch, the visual effects branch? Actors may determine the acting nominees, but all voting members choose the winners. And besides, as a studio head once told Variety, I can spend money to make sure voters see my film, but I can't make them love the film. That's up to them. Yes, campaigning is important to get eyeballs on your movie, something Jim Carrey lamented when he failed to receive his predicted Oscar nomination for The Truman Show.
I would have thought that voting for myself was going to make the difference, but you really got to get out there and talk to people.
But at the end of the day, if not enough Academy members love your film or performance, it's really difficult to triumph in the end. It should be about the work, as Monique said when she collected her Best Supporting Actress trophy for Precious in 2010.
First, I would like to thank the Academy for showing that it can be about the performance and not the politics.
However, not everyone feels that way, most infamously Pia Zadora, whose scandal nearly took down the Golden Globes in the 1980s. After she beat out Elizabeth McGovern and Kathleen Turner for New Star of the Year in a Motion Picture Female in 1982 for her widely panned performance in Butterfly, accusations surfaced that Foreign Press Association members had been bought off. Zadora's then husband, a multimillionaire, flying voting members to stay at his casino and then taking them to a lavish lunch before showing them the movie.
The Golden Globes can't be bought. Everyone knows that. I think the reason it caused such a kind of a shock is that the picture hadn't been released yet. What you're saying right now is you're picking on me because I have a wealthy husband.
I don't think there's any chance of that.
This is the inescapable story most of us know about an influential figure trying to buy a major film award, but the one everyone might not be aware of happened decades earlier, not at the Golden Globes, but at the second Academy Awards ceremony held on April 3, 1930. The controversy appeared in the Best Actress race, when Mary Pickford won for her performance in Coquette, beating 5 other nominees. You see, Pickford wasn't exactly an impartial nominee and participant in the ceremony. A founding member of the Academy, and married to its first president, she wanted this award desperately, and thus was prepared to do anything she could to make the trophy hers. In this video, I'm going to explore the second Academy Awards, and discuss how Mary Pickford managed to win Best Actress for a performance many agree to this day did not deserve the top prize. Before we get to Pickford, let's break down the ceremony itself. The second Academy Awards were held at the Coconut Grove of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles and honored the best films released between August 1, 1928 and July 31, 1929. Unlike the first ceremony, this one did have a limited radio broadcast in LA, and the winners were not announced in advance, which of course gave the ceremony more suspense and offered incentive to all the nominees to actually attend. In addition, 1930 marked the only calendar year that held 2 Academy Award ceremonies. The third Oscars would take place a mere 7 months later in November. No honorary awards were given this time, and the number of award categories was reduced from 12 to 7. So no engineering effects, no directing of a comedy. In fact, this might have been the simplest Oscar categories lineup ever. No bells and whistles, no 3 music categories like we'd get in the 1970s, no adapted and original screenplay we're so used to now. The Best Picture winner at the second Oscars ceremony was the year's top-grossing movie, The Broadway Melody, the first sound film to win the award, and the first to feature a Technicolor sequence. It also became the second of 7 films to win Best Picture without a writing nomination, and the first of only 3 films to win Best Picture and nothing else, Grand Hotel and Mutiny on the Bounty being the others. Best Actor went to Warner Baxter for his performance in Old Arizona, beating out future Oscar winner Paul Muni. Baxter worked in films for 30 years, from 1921 to 1950, toward the end of his career appearing multiple times as Dr. Robert Ordway in the Crime Doctor series. And then there was Best Actress, for which Mary Pickford was named the winner. How did she do it? What exactly was the controversy? First, let's look at the nominees. Ruth Chatterton received a nomination for her performance in Madam X, playing a fallen woman who longs to be reunited with her son. Also receiving an Oscar nomination for its director Lionel Barrymore, Madam X was treated less like a song and dance movie that dominated the early sound pictures and more as a dramatic play. Chatterton made her stage debut in 1911, and her first film role came in Sins of the Fathers in 1928. After receiving her Oscar nomination for Madam X, her career took off big time. Chatterton voted at the end of 1930 as the second female star of the year behind only Norma Shearer. She was nominated again at the 3rd Academy Awards for her performance in Sarah and Son, but by the late 1930s she tired of making films and left the motion picture industry to return to the Broadway stage. Betty Compson was the second nominee for Best Actress for her performance in The Barker, a romantic drama based on the Broadway play of the same name. Compson got her start in films early, appearing in 25 movies in 1916 alone, her popularity eventually allowing her to establish her own production company that provided her creative control over screenplays and financing. She produced the 1921 film Prisoners of Love, and in 1923 she appeared in The Woman with Four Faces, from a screenplay co-written by Alfred Hitchcock. After her nomination for The Barker, her career continued to flourish, Compson appearing in 9 films in 1930. She later shot a screen test for Gone with the Wind, and appeared in Hitchcock's 1941 screwball comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The third nominee was Jean Eagles for her performance in The Letter, about a married woman who kills her lover out of jealousy and is brought to trial.
I went absolutely mad when I seen that revolver, and I fired at him, and I fired, and I fired, and I fired until the gun was empty.
Eagles became the first and to date only person to ever be posthumously nominated for Best Actress, as during the peak of her success, she began abusing drugs and alcohol and eventually developed an addiction. In October 1929, Eagles was meeting with her doctor when she began having convulsions and then died shortly thereafter. The Letter and a lost film called Jealousy were her final works to be released. Eagles later portrayed by Kim Novak in a mostly fictionalized film biography released in 1957. Next, Corinne Griffith received a Best Actress nomination for her performance in The Divine Lady, which tells of the love affair between Horatio Nelson and Emma Hamilton. Frank Lloyd won the Oscar for directing the film, making The Divine Lady the only time in Academy Awards history the director won without the film itself being nominated for Best Picture. Griffith pursued a film career after winning a beauty contest, and in the 1920s, like Betty Compson, she began producing her own feature films. But her movie career didn't last long. 2 years after receiving her Oscar nomination for The Divine Lady, she retired from the motion picture industry, returning only once for 1962's low-budget melodrama Paradise Alley. The fifth nominee was Bessie Love, for her performance in the year's Best Picture winner, The Broadway Melody. She plays Harriet Hank Mahoney, who prides herself on her business sense and talent, confident she can make it big.
You're a coward. You're afraid of Jock Warrener, or you go out and fight for her. But you're just yellow.
It's one of the more memorable performances of the 6 nominees, Love in many ways stealing the film from the other actors. Her career in the movie spanned an incredible 8 decades, Love making her debut in 1916 with 11 films total, including D.W. Griffith's Intolerance, and finishing in the 1980s with roles in Warren Beatty's Reds and Tony Scott's The Hunger. Unlike most of the other women I've talked about in this category, who either passed away or retired early, Love was a prolific actress for most of the 20th century, in both silent and sound films, as well as radio and television.
And then, of course, you made the second talkie, didn't you? I mean, The Broadway Melody was one of those very famous films.
Yes, that's right. Well, it was the first one that had all sound, all dancing, singing, talking, the lot, you see.
And then there was Mary Pickford, the Best Actress winner for her performance in Coquette, directed by Sam Taylor, where she plays a flirt and daughter of a Southern doctor who begins to favor a hot-tempered man who changes the direction of her life. Born in 1892, Pickford, born Gladys Marie Smith, was named America's Sweetheart during the silent film era and the Girl with the Curls. After getting her start on Broadway, D.W. Griffith screen tested Pickford, and she began making films right away, eventually signing a contract that granted her full authority over production of her films. Unfortunately, the arrival of sound was Pickford's undoing as a major star. Coquette was the beginning of the end in a way because she cut her famous ringlets for the role, and fans were shocked at the transformation, the act making front-page news in the New York Times and elsewhere. Her next film, The Taming of the Shrew, was not well received, and an Alice in Wonderland screen test she completed for Walt Disney went nowhere. Pickford retired from film acting in 1933 following many costly failures, and she went on to work behind the scenes, becoming vice president of United Artists in 1936 and producing films like The Gay Desperado and Sleep My Love.
It was just too much for me. You see, the average actress goes home if she's had an emotional day. If she's wise, she'll just take a cup of soup or broth and go to bed at 6 o'clock. But there I'd be at the studio until 11 at night and back the next morning at 6, and I just couldn't take it.
But in early 1930, before she would say goodbye to movie acting, she greatly desired to win an Academy Award, and she felt her role in Coquette was the one to do it. "I am sick of Cinderella parts, of wearing rags and tatters. I want to wear smart clothes and play the lover," Pickford said before purchasing the rights to and making Coquette, later launching what many believe to be the first ever Academy Awards campaign.
Just the way you are now, you'll be the best-looking man there. Now will you come?
No.
But this was more than Pickford shaking a few hands and trying to get voters to watch her movie. She was a charter member of the Academy and was married to its president, Douglas Fairbanks. All the voting for the Oscars done by the Academy Central Board of Judges. She did everything she could to win, including inviting the judges over for tea at her home. Pickford was an enormously powerful figure at this time. The famous Pickford-Fairbanks estate in Beverly Hills, the center of 1920s Hollywood society, and she used her insider knowledge, superstar status, and the position of her husband as leverage to influence as many voters as she could. The movie and her performance most agree is mediocre at best, and a catastrophe at worst. One critic saying, "The entire film is people standing in rooms, giving comically bad line readings and corny gestures. Coquette might as well be the flagship of the horrible films made at the beginning of the sound era." Her win is evidence that Pickford likely bought this particular Best Actress Oscar, at least to a degree, the Academy facing charges that it was evolving less into an industry organization than a small club devoted to the promotion of its founders. The controversy was so identifiable that shortly after the second ceremony, the Academy thankfully eliminated the easily corruptible means of selection. The judging committees were replaced with a one-member, one-vote policy, a technician now having the same power as the studio chief. So at least something good came out of this problematic event in Oscars history. And at least much later on, Pickford received another Academy Award she earned strictly on her merits, an honorary award in 1976 for her contributions to American cinema. Let the wonderful tribute Gene Kelly gave to her at the 48th Academy Awards and the moving speech Pickford delivered in a pre-taped piece from her home be the Oscar memory for this famous figure we remember, not so much the questionable tactics she took upon herself to win Best Actress in 1930.
That's wonderful. You made me very, very happy. And thank you.
Regardless, what a fascinating Best Actress race this turned out to be. And what an astonishing career Mary Pickford had as an actor, a producer, and a vice president of a major studio. And hey, you can't really fault someone for wanting to win an Academy Award, right? It's the ultimate prized possession so many in the film industry want to get their hands on no matter the cost. In what could have been a forgettable second Oscar ceremony, Pickford definitely knew how to keep things interesting. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you think Mary Pickford bought her Best Actress Oscar. Do you think another actress in the category deserved a win? See you next time.